Okay guys, we have some budgeting to do. If you're new here, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Allison. I'm 29, almost 30. I'm married, I have no kids yet, and I work full-time in healthcare. I post a lot of videos about just lifestyle content, vlogs, but I also do a lot of videos about my personal finances because I felt like videos like this helped me a lot when I was going through my debt payoff journey, and I like sharing my thought process on budgeting, how I've been able to get out of debt, and what my future plans are, my next goals, my savings goals, buying a house, all of those good things, and just how I'm trying to make it work as like a normal working gal. Today, we're doing my payday routine, savings updates, and then monthly budget recap because it is the beginning of a new month. We only have 2 more months of the year left, which is crazy, so we're gonna buckle down. These are the hardest 2 months of the year, I think, for financial reasons because it's the holidays, there's a lot of ads, there's a lot of marketing, a lot of shopping, gifts, all of that, which is good and bad at the same time. I don't generally have that many people to shop for, but I get roped into like buying things for myself, and I'm very easily influenced. So yeah, we have work to do, but we're trying to like stay focused, reel it in, and just do what we can, you know? I'm a big advocate for balance, splurging a little bit sometimes, having that balance if you can. This is a very weird time in the world as well because there's just a lot going on. It's a little bit scary with layoffs, the state of the government, food stamp money, like government funding has stopped. And it's just a little bit, it's hard for me to sit here and say all this stuff and I'm budgeting for this and I'm spending money on this when sometimes it's not possible for everybody. Something that I definitely want to start doing is giving back a little bit more because I am in a position where I'm able to do that. Sometimes I feel like you need that reminder that, you know, not everyone is in a similar position to you, and to help others when you can. Let's get into the budget. This was the paycheck for October 24th. I am doing it a little bit later just so I could combine this paycheck breakdown with the monthly budget. My income for this pay period was $2,151.63, and I had $98.66 carry over from my last paycheck, which is just money that I didn't spend from my last paycheck that gets carried over. If you add those together, that gives me about $2,250 to budget with for the next 2 weeks. Basically then what I do is look at anything that's coming out in the next 2 weeks. I have a list of all my subscriptions, what days they come out. I reference that list and see like, okay, these certain subscriptions come out, these bills come out, like our car insurance is during this pay period. So I put all of those things in first, plus any of the direct deposit amounts that I have already like set up. I put all of that stuff first and then kind of go from there. If I were to like take it to the next level with budgeting, when I say like at the end, sometimes I say like, oh, I have like $200 or $300 left over to spend on whatever. Like I could take it to the next level and like even break that up even further and be like, okay, this much is for dining out, this much is for books, this much is for shopping. But I like to just leave it kind of open-ended and like know that I can spend that money on whatever, but don't need it to be very specific categories, if that makes sense. First thing we're gonna start with is the rent, because again, that's something that has to get paid always. So from this paycheck, I'm gonna save $450 for the rent. I split it up between the 2 paychecks. That way on the 1st, which is today, I'm actually filming this on November 1st, I can send in the rent, direct deposit into my emergency fund. I put $200, and direct deposit into our house saving fund. I put $500. Next is our grocery account. I'm putting $200 into there. That is also direct deposit. I did increase that recently because we've started buying the stuff for the cats at Sam's Club. So we've included that just in our grocery account. The unfortunate thing is just it was easier to get things delivered by Amazon. Like I had Amazon Subscribe and Save, so I didn't even have to think about it. Like everything just got delivered every 2 weeks. But to save money, I think it makes a lot more sense to just get it at Sam's Club. We tend to go every other weekend anyway, and I can always, if we really are in a pinch, I can just order it from Sam's Club, like the app, and their shipping is very, very fast, so it can come like in the next day. So So we're gonna do that for now. So I've taken like the cat budget line item out, and I used to budget around $30 to $60 per paycheck. So now I added $50 into the grocery budget. Then also our phone and internet bill is due during this pay period. So that is $200, and our car insurance is $200. And I pay for both me and my husband's car insurance at the moment. He is getting very, very close to paying off his credit card debt. So I think once that happens, then very soon after that is when we plan to start like looking for a house and all of that. I think at that point we will reevaluate the bills and write down every single bill that we pay that's like shared, add it all up and figure out how much each one of us is going to contribute to that, because he actually also just got a promotion. I'm not 100% sure when it officially starts, but he will be making a little bit more money as well, which is very, very exciting. So he'll be making a little bit more and also have his credit cards paid off. So yeah, at that point, we're definitely going to take a look, see where we can like split our bills and finances a little bit more evenly, and that will be very exciting. I always like to say this, I'm very grateful to be in the position that I am, where I'm able to help him right now, and I know he would do the same for me if I had been in the same position. I obviously also use social media to make extra money, so I was able to pay off all of my debt a lot faster, and now I'm in the position where I'm gonna help him. I feel very at peace and relieved to know that when we buy a house, we'll be in like a very comfortable position, and that's all that really matters to me. Like, we both knew we didn't want to be in over our heads. We didn't want to like just dig our hole deeper. As much as it feels like we're behind in life, like I know that we're really not, and I'm only comparing myself to either people I'm seeing online or people in real life, but it really doesn't matter, because you never truly know actually either what someone's situation is, either financially or just like the life situation in general. So something happened in my life recently with someone close to me that made me realize that yeah, like it may not always be as good as it seems on the outside. So anyway, subscriptions. I only have 2 subscriptions coming out in the next 2 weeks. There's Hulu, which I'm only paying $2.99 right now, and CapCut is $9.99. Then I'm also going to budget for gas for the next 2 weeks, and that is going to be about $65. So typically right now that's 1 tank of gas per week. And then the last thing that I'm budgeting for is my nails. I get my nails done once a month. So typically from one of my paychecks, I budget for my nails, and it is a little bit more expensive, but it's a luxury that I choose to budget for right now. And I'm budgeting $80 for that. And they do last 4 weeks. They're structured gel. She usually does some kind of like design, and she's very, very good at what she does. So I don't even mind paying whatever she wants, I'll pay her. If we add all that together, it comes to about $1,908. And then if you subtract that, what I had to budget with, which was the $2,250, that leaves me with about $342 for the next 2 weeks. And that's the money I was mentioning that is for dining out, books, shopping. This may be where you decide to be like, okay, I'm gonna budget $75 of this for dining out. I'm gonna budget $10 for coffee. I'm gonna budget $30 for books. That's where you could really get into like the nitty-gritty of budgeting, but I know myself, and like that probably just like wouldn't work for me, because week to week, who knows what can happen. I spend money on different things every single week. It's just not something that I choose to do, where I split up this money into different categories. I just kind of know this is what I have to work with, so you should really try to stick to that, make it work. But you can spend it on whatever, but just stick to like this limit of money. That's the budget for this paycheck, and I feel pretty good about it. Next, I will go over my savings updates. We've been making a lot of progress with the savings updates now that the debt is gone. The 2 categories we're focusing on are my emergency fund and the house fund. My emergency fund as of now, after the $200 that I put in from this paycheck, is at $4,600, which is awesome. So very, very soon we'll be at 5,000, which is kind of that first milestone that I really wanted to hit. And then we're going to work on car and medical sinking funds. I would love to have $1,000 in each of those, just because of deductibles. Then for the house savings challenge, I've set myself a goal to save an extra $10,000 for the house fund. I don't totally feel comfortable sharing like the total amount that we have saved for the house fund, just because I don't don't know. Like, I feel like there's certain things that maybe, like, I share a lot on the internet, but I feel like there's just certain things that maybe aren't the safest thing to share on the internet. But I set a goal that from like September to February, I wanted to save an extra $10,000 into our house saving fund, just to boost that as much as we can. The last video, the total was $3,150, and since then I saved $500 from this paycheck, $150 from money that I made from YouTube, and then we also gained $100 of interest in that account in the last month. Total saved since my last update is $750, which means the total is now up to $3,900 out of this $10,000 goal. Feeling good, feeling positive. Again, just gotta kind of keep going, keep moving in the right direction, and we'll be fine. Last section is gonna be looking at our overall monthly budget. I don't want to do it because it's not good. I know it's not good. I just finished adding everything into here, but we have to look it over. You know, this is why we do these things. This is why we track everything and why we go over it and look at it. It's not to make ourselves feel bad or be like, oh my God, I spent too much, or make you feel guilty about certain things. It's literally just so that I can be like, okay, this is what happened this month. What can we do differently next month and going forward? It's really just so that I can be like, oh, okay, girl, you spent too much money on books this month. Stop it. Stop buying books. Here's the overview. If we look at income, I made a little bit more than I was expecting. Bills were spot on. Subscriptions were a little bit low, or a little bit higher, because I thought I skipped my book of the month subscription, but then this month I actually ended up getting 3 books, and I did one of the add-ons. I had an extra credit, but then I did one of the add-ons, and the add-ons are cheaper. So I did get 3 books, but I got 3 books for $12.71. So that was kind of worth it to me. But I did think it was going to be 0, but it ended up being a little bit higher. Still under $100 for my subscriptions for the month. I'm not mad about it. Let's go through it. Let's just look at the expenses. Let's go through it. Let's talk about it. Groceries. We're under. We have been going to Sam's Club a little bit more, and unfortunately when you go there, you get more for your money, but you also have to spend a little bit more at the time because you're getting like more bulk items. It's been really working out well for us, and again, we've been spending less on pets, because if we can see down here, I actually spent $0 on pets because this whole month we've been buying everything at Sam's Club, which means technically in general we're saving money because we spent less on groceries and I spent less on pets. Dining out was under. Gas, I'm good with that. I'm under budget there. I might even bring that, well, no, that's a lie. I was gonna say I might bring that number down, but we are traveling for my birthday and we're driving, so I'm gonna, well, whatever, we'll get to that next month. I'm jumping ahead. Oh gosh, shopping. Guys, I don't know what happened here. I don't. I must have blacked out. I will say this, some of it was work stuff. Actually, I think majority of it was work clothes. $150 was work clothes. Then I think another $50 was figs, which is work clothes. So majority of it was stuff for work. I'm not really that mad about it. We did a huge order for work with like embroidered stuff, like with the name of our hospital on it, because I'm like relatively new to this system, but I am planning on staying in this system for a long time. I was like, okay, let me get like a jacket, a sweater, some shirts and stuff. So we did an order. That's kind of what this $150 was. And then again, I did get some more long sleeve shirts for under my scrubs, and I got another vest, just things like that. So majority of this was shopping related to work. There were a few things, like I did get something at Old Navy. I got something at Kohl's. I got the Christmas sweaters at Sam's Club, and I put that under shopping. Beauty was also a lot higher because I normally just budget for my nails, but in this category I got a permanent bracelet on my ankle. I put that in the beauty category because I don't really have any, like I didn't really know where else to put that. Was that necessary? No, not really, but the last one I had on for like over 4 years, so it got its money's worth for sure. I did buy 2 things at Sephora, so I put that in beauty as well. So that's why that is a little bit higher. Entertainment and travel, 0. Gifts was higher because I did the boo baskets for all of the girls in book club. So I did spend about like $200 on everything that I ended up getting. So that was like $30 per person. So it's really not that bad. It's just obviously there were a lot of people in book club. Again, I don't regret spending any of that money because it was so fun and I loved hosting book club and I loved making it like a special event and like giving everybody something. So yeah, pets, 0, because again, we put that into the grocery category. Health, this is where I made a mistake. I made the mistake. I'm always open and honest about this. I take tirzepatide and I get it through Brello. This is a GLP-1 medication, a weight loss medication. I've been loving it. It's been working and I don't really feel any side effects, but the problem is they auto renew and ship your medication if you don't like say anything on your portal. So I totally forgot I actually I have leftover medication from my last order. They like auto renewed it before I could change the date. So I got charged another $500 for my medication, but it's a 3-month supply. And now obviously I put in a reminder on my phone next time to change it while I still can, to skip my next one because now I have like a ton. So that was an unexpected expense, but something I can still use because you can keep it in the fridge as long as the vial's closed for like a good amount of time. So it's not the end of the world. I'll use it. Like it'll now get me through the next like almost 6 months. That wasn't supposed to come out this month, but it did. Snacks were also a lot higher because I ended up getting a bunch of energy drinks. I bought some chocolate to help like a coworker who's doing a fundraiser. Coffee was 0. We love that. I have not been really buying that much coffee lately. Haven't been drinking that much coffee lately. Golf, we're done until like the springtime. Home was a little more expensive too because I did some shopping. I got some Christmas decor. I did get a new comforter. Miscellaneous was low. Car other, okay, again, this is... I'm sorry guys, I'm so sorry. I spent so much money. This was my birthday gift to myself. I ended up getting an automatic car starter installed into my car for the winter. Well, forever, but because the weather started getting colder and I was like, I cannot do this. I simply cannot. I won't make it through the winter. I need an automatic car starter. So I decided to splurge, get myself that for my birthday. Nothing makes me happier than being warm. Amazon, 0. I've not been spending money on Amazon, like at all. Books, oh my god, books. But I knew this. I've been warning you guys that I spent a lot of money on books this month, and I did. I don't know, it just added up. It added up really fast, okay? It added up very, very, very fast. And then this category was the one, I think I mentioned it in my last paycheck breakdown. This is a new category that I am gifting like money to my husband basically to help him pay off his credit cards faster. This is only a short-term plan. Like we discussed this earlier this year when I paid off my car. I said, hey, look, I get extra money every single month from social media. Let me just help you for the next few months. I'm doing this like people think, yeah, I'm doing it for him, but I'm also doing it for myself in the fact that like we're a unit now and my main goal and like when I get my head set on a goal to buy a house, that's what I want to do. That's what this leads to. You know what I mean? Like if I can help him pay off his debt faster, that means we get a house faster. That's what we discussed. And I said, hey, look, until like February, why don't I just give you a little bit of money, help you pay that off? Because that's a good chunk of money where he can like pay that off just so much faster. Yeah, I just think for the next few months, this is what's going to work. Last category on here is the savings, and we kind of already went over that. I did end up saving $400 into my emergency fund and $1,150 into our house saving fund, which was a little lower than I wanted, but again, clearly a lot of other expenses came up this month that just were a little had to make me put my money in some different spots. Overall, still very happy with how the month went. I am hoping that November is going to be a better month. I don't think I could ever do like a no spend month, like no spend November. It's just not who I am. It's not possible for me. I know that. And I don't want to set myself up for failure in that sense. I do know that I need to reel it in for sure because this month was very unexpected. So I do think November just needs to rein it in a little bit and I need to stay a little bit more focused. Okay, let's fill out November budget on my spreadsheet and then we'll be done with this video. So my 2 paychecks in November are the 7th and the 21st. TikTok is always the 15th, YouTube is the 21st. Again, I'm gonna put 2,100 as my expected for paycheck because I think it might be, yeah. I think that's probably where it's gonna be. TikTok, I think is gonna be 1,000. And then YouTube, 188. And I should be getting a brand deal payment. Usually, sometimes I don't add this in, but I'm like almost positive that I'll get paid this one this month. So I am gonna add it in. So I think I should get about $600 after taxes. Again, this is all after taxes. Let me copy over bills and subscriptions. And then I have to change this back to 850. Last month we took a little bit off the rent just because we had to pay for something out of pocket. I'm also currently losing daylight, so I'm trying my best to get through this in the next 15 minutes or so that it's not completely pitch black. Bills should be 1,250. Subscriptions, I'm gonna copy these over. I do have to add the book of the month back in. And then finally, I'm gonna copy over the expenses, but I always adjust them as needed. Groceries, I might bring it up to 400 because these are the things I feel like you kind of need to think about too when you're making a budget for like a specific month. We host Thanksgiving, which we only host for 4 people. Like there's 6 of us total, so we don't like buy a ton of stuff, but obviously it's extra stuff than like we would normally buy. So I am gonna put it at 400. Plus now we have also been buying the cat stuff. We're gonna see what that ends up looking like, but I'm gonna put it at that for now. Dining out, I think I'll leave that at 75. Fuel, I will leave at 150. Shopping, I'm gonna bring it up to 100 because it is my birthday month and we are taking a small trip for my birthday. So I do expect that I will probably spend a little bit more. I will probably get a sweatshirt wherever we go. Beauty, I'm also gonna raise a little bit because I'm getting a haircut this month. I literally get a haircut maybe once or twice a year. So I don't often budget for that, but the ends of my hair are just getting a little too crazy right now, so I do want a haircut. So I know for a fact I have one scheduled this month. I really don't know how much it's gonna be. Like I don't get anything crazy. I literally just get a cut. Sometimes I don't even have them style my hair because they don't do it right. So I'm gonna assume it might be like $60. So I'm gonna put 150. I just really don't know how much it's gonna be. We're doing 4 days in Toronto, or like 3.5 days in Toronto for my birthday. I think what I'll do instead of like, I could just like lump everything into travel, but I think what I'll do is separate like whatever I spend on this trip, like I'll separate it into whatever category. So I might raise dining out to 100. I'll leave travel at 0. Just because, again, I'll like put everything into whatever category it goes into. But I know that I need to at least increase those categories if I'm not going to put it in the travel category. Gifts, I actually think I'm going to leave gifts at 0. I really don't have Christmas gifts to buy, so I'm not sure if I'll buy anything for gifts this month. Pets, I'm gonna bring that down to 0. Snacks, I'm gonna bring that up actually, maybe to like $40 because typically when we travel, when we drive, I'm a car snack girly. I get drinks, I get energy drinks, Gatorades, I get snacks for the car. Coffee, I don't know, maybe I'll bring that down to like $15 just to have the buffer for the budget, but I don't really think I'm gonna need it. I don't know. Golf, still 0. Home, I might try to bring that, I don't know. It's so hard because I don't think I'll spend anything on home, but I also don't want to leave it at 0 and then buy something and be crazy over budget. So maybe I'll put it at 50 just to see, like there might be something I buy, but I'm assuming no. Miscellaneous, I kind of usually always leave at 50. I'm usually below 50. Car other, I'll leave. Amazon, honestly, maybe I'll bring that down to like 40 for now. Books should be 0, but I'm gonna leave it at 20. And then Tom, I'm gonna try to give him $500 this month. So yeah, expenses a little bit higher than normal, but again, because we know that this month we are hosting Thanksgiving, we're going on a trip, it's just probably going to be a more expensive month. And then my goal for saving, the goal is $400 in my emergency fund, and that will get me up to $5,000. And then into the house fund, I think my goal is, I'm going to say $1,600 for the house fund this month. I think. Forgot the brand deal payment. So that actually would be closer to like $2,250, which that makes sense. So then usually what I do to check my math is look at this number here. Total income minus all of that still leaves me with like $350. I like to leave that number around $350 or $400 because then that leaves me like variable expenses in the expense category. Yeah, super exciting. That's the budget for November. Does it always go to plan? No, but we try our best. And we try to make it, we try our best, we try to make it work. The plan is the next 2 months, lock it in, stay focused, and just focus on saving literally as much as I can, trying to make as much extra money as I can. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon in my next video.